Welcome back. A major political storm is now brewing over Election Commission's move to carry out a special intensive revision of the electoral rolls in states like Bihar and West Bengal. Now, Trinamool Congress leader Derek O'Brien has termed the exercise a sinister move to bring NRC through backdoor, echoing strong objections from the opposition India bloc. Listen in to what he said.
It's a sinister move to bring EC through the backdoor. Did I say EC? It's a Freudian slip. The EC is trying to bring the NRC to the back door, and I'll take it one step further today. In 1935, under the Nazis, you were supposed to be given an ancestor pass, some proof of paper to show that you are an Indian citizen. Is this the new version of that Nazi ancestor pass? And I want to leave you with this thought. Where to from here after this press conference? This is not about one party taking credit and who said it first, not at all. As my leader has always said, we want to be the squirrel in the garden. We will do the work. But let me tell you, this is only the beginning. Inside Parliament and outside Parliament, all the India bloc parties will take this up, even before Parliament starts.
And West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has also alleged that the drive unfairly targets the youth of Bengal, accusing the Election Commission of acting with political motives. The Election Commission, however, maintains that the revision is aimed at ensuring clean and inclusive voter rolls by removing ineligible names and registering all eligible citizens ahead of the upcoming elections. But despite this, concerns continue to rise, with AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi warning that any such measures may disenfranchise genuine Indian voters and erode public faith in the democratic process. Listen in. All right, we'll try and play that reaction later, but Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav has also backed Mamata Banerjee's claims, alleging that the BJP and the EC are attempting to implement NRC indirectly. The opposition has vowed to raise the issue vocally, both inside and outside of the parliament.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी पीछे के दरवाजे से कुछ भी कर सकती है और पीछे ही पीछे किसी से भी हाथ मिला सकती है। जब 18,000 वोट 2019 में जो थे और 2022 में जिनको डिलीट कर दिया गया था, और उसको हम लोगों ने आरोप लगाया था कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने उन लोगों के नाम डिलीट कर दिए जिन्होंने 2019 में वोट डाले थे, 2022 में वोट नहीं डाल पाए। उस पर उन्होंने नोटिस दिया था समाजवादी पार्टी को। हम लोगों ने बाकायदा 18,000 एफिडेविट दिए थे ऐसे लोगों के जो 19 में वोट डाले थे, 22 में उनका डिलीट हो गया था वोट। उसका जवाब आज तक नहीं दिया और न किसी आरोप पे कार्रवाई हुई। तो अगर ममता जी कुछ कह रही है मुख्यमंत्री, इसका मतलब ये है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी कोई साजिश षड्यंत्र कर रहे हैं, इसलिए साजिश षड्यंत्र से सावधान रहना पड़ेगा।
And meanwhile, the Election Commission has started its special intensive revision to verify all the eligible voters and their eligibility in each constituency ahead of the Bihar election, fulfilling its mandate under Article 326 of the Constitution. To talk about what's really happening here, if this exercise is meant to cause fear and panic among people. Joining us on the show is O.P. Rawat, former Chief Election Commissioner. Also with us is Ajit Kejha. He's a senior journalist. I want to come to you first, Mr. Rawat. You know, opposition as usual at this point in time is fearful. They believe that this could be NRC coming through the back doors. Are there fears for real? Do you think this could be or leading up to introduction of NRC in the future?
Actually, politics apart, to be eligible to be enrolled as a voter, you have to be a citizen. That is the mandatory requirement. And therefore, if intensive revision is being conducted, then the proof of citizenship has to be there. But Election Commission this time has made it very simple that if your name is in 2003, which was the year intensive revision took place, then you don't have to give anything. Election Commission has provided 2003 electoral roll on the website in hard copy everywhere, and you just have to mention the enrollment number, etc., and it will be through. For others also, in para 12 of their order, the Election Commission has clarified that these are the documents which can be produced to satisfy that you are a citizen and you need to be enrolled because you are 18 years and above. So I don't think there will be any such thing, NRC, or because NRC is a very different concept. I think it will be good. And as per Section 21 of RP Act 1950, it's a mandate to the Election Commission that before every election, you must revise the electoral roll and ensure that all those eligible to vote, they are enrolled.
Uh, Mr. Jha, this seems to be a classic tactic of the opposition parties. I mean, they have all the right to do it, but their fear at this point is that through this intensive exercise, it does look like EC is now trying to erode some of their voter base and also meanwhile asking people to identify their citizenship to prove that they are citizens of this country would essentially mean that NRC is being implemented through this exercise.
I actually agree with the opposition stand, Shweta. I'll give you three reasons. First, why did the Election Commission have to wait until so late? Barely 4 months, 3 to 4 months are left for the Bihar election. The entire exercise they want to carry out in 1 month. Imagine, there are 8 crore voters in Bihar. Majority, almost about close to 4.76 crore of the voters will not fit this 2003 voter rolls. So they have to produce the birth certificate of their own, of their parents in many cases, the school leaving certificate and caste certificate. The Aadhaar card and election card will not be accepted according to EC. Now think of the voters. I've just returned from Bihar and people are mortally afraid. Think of the people in the rural areas. How many Biharis and how many Indians have their birth certificate? How many have their school leaving certificate? Because the number of people who have passed school is very few in terms of percentages. How many have their caste certificate? In fact, I'll give you a figure. In the year 2003, they did a survey. And by the way, this was an official survey. Only 2.3% people had their birth certificate. Matriculation certificate, about 10 to 13%. Caste certificate, scheduled caste had 20%, OBC had 25%. Now think of it. How can the EC pass the onus of proving your citizenship on the citizen? Take the two cases, the US and UK. We follow the UK model of voting. The UK method, and by the way, that of European countries, is that it is the government's sort of onus, the government's responsibility to ensure that people get their certificates and they vote. In America, it's opposite. In America, and that is one of the reasons why in the US, the voting percentage is very low, because people go and register either as a Republican or a Democrat or as an independent. Right. And as a result, 1/3 of Americans never register. Now, what the EC is doing, they are using the American methodology, imposing it on the Indian voter.
Understood.
And
so, you know, there are a lot of important things that you said there. So I want to take it up with, you know, Mr. O.P. Rawat also, one after the other. Mr. Rawat, I think let's talk about the timing of it, sir. I think that is where, Ajit Jha is also saying that it looks a little bit suspicious. Because when you know that a large chunk of the population, about 4 crore plus Indians, are expected to now prove their citizenship, if they want to be eligible to vote, there should have been more time given to them. This is coming right ahead of Bihar elections. So essentially, it's not so much the motive, but the timing that makes it very suspicious right now.
Actually, these suspicions will finally be proved totally unfounded because the Election Commission instructions are very clear and the process has already begun on 26th of June. So, not any complaint of this kind from any citizen or from any eligible voter has come up. In fact, Election Commission's press note today, I read it, and it says that in last 2 days there has been nothing, absolutely nothing. Only the political parties are suspicious and they are voicing
But would you
their
agree,
concern.
Mr. Rawat, that it's very difficult to prove your citizenship if you do not have the requisite document? And if Election Commission is not okay with voter card, it's not okay with Aadhaar card, then to provide a whole host of documents for people living in rural areas, from matriculation certification to their parents' date of birth certificates, it's extremely difficult, sir. And hardly many people have it. You know, some of the numbers were quoted by Mr. Jha as well.
There is no difficulty at all. There are so many revisions which have taken place in the past. Electoral rolls are there, like 2003 electoral roll. If your parent's name is there, then you can easily trace and prove that you are also a citizen. So, Election Commission's documents very clearly lay out as to what you should approach, how many documents are there, out of which if you can produce only one, it is good enough. So I don't think this difficulty will come, and if any voter comes up with a difficulty, I think it will be the onus on Election Commission to ensure that the voter is held and his registration is done.
And obviously these fears stem from the fact that there have been charges on EC in the past couple of years now from the opposition parties of playing stooge to the ruling dispensation. That's what the opposition is saying at the moment. But you know, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi also talked about how this is going to disenfranchise many people. Listen into what he said.
हमने इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को अपनी पार्टी की तरफ से एक रिप्रेजेंटेशन भिजाया है और हमने उनसे गुजारिश की है कि आप हमको एक डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन दीजिए, हमारे जो कंसर्न्स हैं और हमारे जो सवालात हैं। सबसे पहले ये है कि 2024 के पार्लियामेंट के चुनाव से पहले वोटर लिस्ट पे हुआ, अभी आप समरी क्या इंटेंसिव रिवीजन कर रहे हैं और हम ये बताना चाह रहे हैं कि एक रिवीजन हो चुका है 29 अक्टूबर से 6 जनवरी तक। अब ये हमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि जो इंटेंसिव रिवीजन हो रहा है, जो पिछली बार बिहार में हुआ था, 2003 में था, उस जब हुआ था तो 1 साल का टाइम था लोकसभा चुनाव के लिए और 2 साल का टाइम था विधानसभा के चुनाव के लिए। अब आप ये कह रहे हैं कि ये सब जो प्रोसेस है ये 1 महीने में ख़त्म हो जाएगी, माने 1 अगस्त को EROs को BLOs दे देना चाहिए, फिर दूसरा वो पब्लिश हो जाएगा 1 महीने के बाद, तीसरा सितंबर में फाइनल रोल आ जाएगा। जो इतना जल्दी कैसे होगा? आपकी तो BLOs की ट्रेनिंग भी नहीं हो पाएगी। तीसरी बात यह है कि आपने BLO ऑफिसर को जो पावर्स दिए हैं, इतने खतरनाक पावर्स आप दिए हैं कि वो ये तय करेगा कि कोई भारत का नागरिक है या नहीं।
All right, well, those are the concerns that Asaduddin Owaisi is pointing out. Ajit Jha, he's saying that the powers to the BLO are shocking, and to the point where he'll be able to suggest and prove who's a citizen, who's not a citizen, and that could perhaps lead to many people who should be ideally be eligible to vote be ineligible.
Absolutely, Shweta. Think of Bihar. 1/3 of Bihar is migrant. You know, if you go to the rural areas, you don't see any men. All you see are either women or elderly people. Youngsters migrate for studies, men migrate for work. At the point within this 1 month, in the, you know, it's like raging heat or, you know, monsoon there. At that point, these guys will go door to door and ask for, you know, the mother's birth date, the father's, you know, birth certificate. the parents sort of whatever their matriculation certificate or caste certificate. I, for example, I don't have my parents' birth certificate. I don't carry it. Think of me. If I don't carry, how can 98% Biharis have them? It's a silly, absolutely
just to quote you what
ludicrous.
just to quote you what Mr. Rawat said just now, that you don't need all of them, you need maybe one of them or few of them. So even if you don't have all these documents, you are okay if you have your matriculation certificate. If you have some of these essential documents, that is enough to prove that you are a citizen. And more so, if
Why
your parents
use
were
Aadhaar
registered.
card? Just
If the
one
parents were
question.
registered in 2003, which I'm sure in your case your parents were, then you will also be able to prove that you are eligible to vote. But more so, sir, it is an important process. I have to ask you, Mr. Jha, at this point, you say that you don't quite agree with the timing of it, and you've also talked about a lot of difficulties that this process will result in for people. And, point well accepted. But you also have to understand that EC has a job towards conducting free and fair elections in this country, which also ensures, that removing redundancies every time and again, people who've died, people are not eligible, their names should be taken off the list, and new people, people who are now eligible to vote, their names should be included. So that cleaning process is important.
Well, let me point out, this is an unprecedented move. It is happening for the first time. It will start with Bihar. It will be done in all the states. The 18-point agenda was given by the EC. The EC claims they had 4,000 meetings with political parties. Why didn't they suggest at that time? Why did they wait for so late? They already had, as Mr. Owaisi pointed out, they had a prior cleaning of the election list. Why didn't they mention it then? Why is it that right 1 month time before, 3 months before the election, they are conducting this comprehensive survey? Think of it, 8 crore voters. It is impossible that the EC can get it done. The caste survey of Bihar had taken more than 6 months of formal just interviewing of people. The same survey, how can it be done in a matter of 1 month? I just fail to understand the hyper efficiency of the EC right before an election. Was the EC sleeping at that time in January when they were conducting and not letting political parties talk about it? Plus, they have imposed this. They have not had a meeting with all the political parties asking them, do they agree that this is something to be done? You can't just come and impose things on people, on political parties without any consultation. I mean, this is unprecedented in the entire history of Indian elections. They have never ever done this. Why suddenly today in Bihar? What are they suspicious about?
Fair enough, Mr. Rawat, I think you've got to answer some questions here. I understand that you retired from that institution and I'm sure you have a lot of respect for it, but at the same time you've also got to sometimes listen to what the opposition parties are saying, and more so ensure that all voices are heard. That's what democracy is all about. And if all parties are not on board, you cannot be seen to be imposing something that parties find difficult to align with. It does look like right now Election Commission is hurting a lot of sentiments, and a lot of regional political parties are feeling that this could then be implemented, because this is so sudden and there is very little to no evidence of whether it will be helpful or not, maybe extended to other states tomorrow, and that could be difficult for parties, opposition parties, could hurt them and hurt their electoral fortune.
Actually, you are right in the sense that such major decisions are always taken through all party meetings so that their concerns are addressed. But I'm not aware about that, whether this kind of meeting took place or not. But numbers should not be scary, because numbers come down to only block booth level officer, where only 12,000 to 14,000 voters are there. And giving the forms and collecting from them is not a big task. Second thing is, migrant workers from Bihar, a large number of poor people go to Punjab, Haryana and other places for jobs. But this is monsoon season, and during monsoon season, Kharif crop is grown by these people, and therefore they don't migrate in this season. So this is the most appropriate season for Bihar to have this kind of exercise, because everyone will be at home, everyone will be near the polling station. Then all parties can be told, they have been told that booth level agents appointed by them, they can be associated with this whole process. Wherever they find any difficulty, they can report to the BLO, they can tell the ERO, and it will be done.
Mr. Rawat,
And telling
I
BLOs
don't
was
think they like to be and they want to be associated with the process. I think that's the point. They don't want the process right now. They're not happy with the process.
But that is not their want, because the law mandates it is Election Commission's duty to do it before every election.
All right, Election Commission's duty and therefore spoken like a true former Chief Election Commissioner there, Mr. O.P. Rawat. Thank you very much, as well as Mr. Jha. Thank you, both of you, for taking time out, for joining us on this very crucial story. It's leading to a major political storm now after Election Commission decided to carry out a special intensive revision SIR of electoral rolls in states like Bihar and West Bengal, which are going into election. Trinamool Congress leader spoke about the issue. Many other opposition leaders, including West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, as well as AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi, has also talked about how this is likely to disenfranchise people and genuine Indian voters, and also erode their faith in a democratic process, for it will ask people who were not a part of electoral rolls up until 2003 to prove their citizenship. So it's going to be difficult times ahead for those people in Bihar who are looking to vote and have not been eligible as voters in 2003. But time now for a very short break. We'll be back in just a bit.